Well, Ulises, you can't win them all, even against the Oakland Athletics, who somehow, some way, are on a 6-game winning streak, crazily enough.
Well, it's difficult to win in MLB, so I know there are some fans that are going to be upset, but let's talk about it right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel and page at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on all the other podcasting platforms, social media, Twitter, and Instagram at Locked On Rays. And you can email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Well, the Tampa Bay Rays lose last night to the Oakland Athletics on the road by a score of 4-3. It almost feels like a clunker, even though it wasn't a 6, 7, 8-run loss or deficit, just losing to a team that entered the game 17-50, despite being on a 5-game winning streak at that time, just has a crummy feeling, if you will, before an astounding 4,800 fans, if that's even the right mark.
It's, that's why on Monday I said, I'll take a split. It's a West Coast trip. They were deflated from the energy spent playing against a Texas Rangers team that is very, very good. We have seen this time and time again. If you've watched baseball long enough, you know that those series take it out on the players. And so there is going to be usually kind of an emotional drought. And I think that's what we saw yesterday. I mean, at first you didn't think so because it seemed just like a pitcher's duel. Zack Eflin was mowing them down, dude. He was so incredible the first 4 innings. I mean, he had 6 strikeouts in the first 4 innings, 4 from the curveball, 2 from the cutter, which is kind of odd because he only had like 4 strikeouts on the cutter the whole year. And then, by the way, he was really efficient too. I think he was averaging around 15 to 16 pitches per inning. So he was great. He looked good. He looked the part. And then he had a Charlie Morton inning that did not end in the 5th there. 2 walks. And then the bottom of the order just goes to town on him, and he doesn't get to finish, and that's his shortest outing of the season.
Yeah, and that happens where you can't always be at your best, and I like the point that you made about a little bit deflating and possibly playing down to the competition. Very emotional, very draining series, last several series, and it's kind of a buzzkill and a downfall to have to go on the West Coast and basically playing an empty ballpark against a losing franchise where you just really expect to roll in and mow the competition down. Of course, that didn't necessarily happen. And I got to tell you, the lineup, when you look at it pregame, man, it looks a lot weaker when Wander Franco and Brandon Lau aren't starting. Just saying. When you get to that number 6, number 7 spot, it's like, okay, how is this team the best offense in baseball again? It makes a difference, I'm saying. So, the Rays didn't necessarily have their A squad. And as you mentioned about Zack Eflin, again, it probably would have helped for him to get some run support early on. Right. It was a little bit of too little, too late. So there's that.
Yeah, no. And I to talk about the lineup was funky. I think it'll always be funky when you don't have, those 2 names, but I think you are alluding to something, is the fact that Christian Bethancourt has been kind of slowing down his offensive production. Taylor Walls has slowed down his offensive production. So it's not the April/early May team where everybody is hitting. This is what was going to happen. Regression. And so when I said in the cold open, some fans are not going to be happy, it's because some fans are just expecting the Rays to just, as you facetiously have been saying in April, like undefeated and all that stuff. Like, I do think that there are a lot of casual baseball fans that do think that you can just win 110, 120, and it's really simple. Like, if it would be simple, if it would be something that you would see every day, then the Dodgers of the last decade would have done it every year, and they didn't. So that's my bone to pick with the fandom. But the bone to pick up with the lineup is, none. They have been amazing, and so right now some guys are struggling, and that's okay. It's a long season. It's not football.
Yes. It was the Jose Siri show yesterday. That 3-run straightaway or 427 feet. Is that his 12th home run of the year? We're not even 70 games through. That is extremely, extremely impressive and extremely, extremely rare for a center fielder. Let's recall and remember that Kevin Kiermaier had no more than 15 in a single season. Now, of course, Kevin Kiermaier usually missed 2/3 of the season or 1/3 of the season, somewhere in between that range. So he never, was able to it wasn't a home run hitter as it was, but Jose Siri, again, displaying that he's the full package. And when he hits a home run, it seems like a lot of them are no doubters. And he probably, for a couple more feet, he might have couple more home runs on his resume that turned out to be doubles this season. But if you look at his spray chart, it's like, okay, these balls are 20, 30, 40 foot beyond the wall. Like it's number 3, number 4 designated hitter, first base-esque power that we're seeing from a center fielder.
Yeah, for sure. And I think with the most impressive thing about his power is that when he hits it, it doesn't look like he just is torquing and, all this power. Like it seems like an easy flick of the wrist with him. It's really impressive. And his body type doesn't scream, oh, this is a power guy. No, it just seems like a lanky speedster, but he does have pop, man. It's really impressive to see. He closes down that gap to 4-3. And then there was Brujan somehow gets a hit. Somehow. I don't know, packed with the Oakland Devil or something. He gets a hit. He's finally on first. The dude is making an aggressive lead. And for 2 full at-bats, he does not go. He does not steal. He does not use what he has as a God-given talent, which is raw speed. He doesn't go for 2 full at-bats. And then what happens? Harold, of course, death, taxes, and Harold getting singles. He gets a single through. Brujan goes from first to third instead of from second to home. Why didn't Brujan steal?
I don't know if it was a case of him being hesitant or nervous or the coaching staff not wanting to give him the green light, because even with his amazing speed, he does have a tendency to get run down on the base pass. So, but there's been a new modus operandi of aggressive, run. But again, that might just be a young player trying to feel out his role and feel out himself and not want to make a mistake. There could be something to that.
Mason Hour did tell us that one of the biggest things that you need to know as a base stealer when we had him on the show, which, by the way, if you have not listened to that interview, please do. It's really, really good. He was great on it. He said the first thing is to not be afraid of getting caught. If you're afraid of getting caught, you're not going to be a good base stealer. So maybe there's something to that.
Yeah, and you can get away with that in AAA or AA, but when you're in the show and you want to do everything you can to stay up there, you don't want to make mistakes, because you might have a feeling like, oh, because I got caught too many times the last time I was up here, my last couple stints, that I'm going to blow it again. I don't know. I can't read his mind. I'd have to be in the clubhouse to ask him that question, but that's just kind of my initial inclination there.
No, and I want to dig deeper on this, and we have so much more. We've got comments from Cash, which we will introduce. We're going to talk, but I do want to talk about not only the reverse boycott that's happening on Tuesday evening's game, but I also want to talk a little bit more about Brujan. But we got to tell the folks something really important, don't we?
Yes, very, very important that we tell the folks about Gametime. It is the place for last-minute ticket deals. Forget planning months in advance. Gametime has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Did you know that Game Time is the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason? Get images of your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you are set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. So snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute ticket deals, lowest price guaranteed. All right. So yeah, did you want to touch more on Bruján or get to Kevin Cash's comments here?
Just a little bit more about Bruján. I was looking at his baseball reference page, and if you haven't done that, boy, you're not gonna get a smile. I know. Look, before I start this, 224 plate appearances is not enough to make a determination on whether a guy is going to be successful in the major leagues or not successful. Let's start with that. He does not have a big sample size to make that determination. Yeah. However, we do have enough sample size to tell you that it has not been productive. It has not been good.
Right.
That we do. This is his slash line, people. 155 batting average, 211 on base, 223 slug. That's a 434 OPS. That's just not even close to playable. And if you're more of a plus metric person where 100 is the average and every point above is a percentage point above the average. So his OPS plus is 26. It's 26. That's 74 percentage points below average for a player. And then if you tell me, well, he can steal bags. Well, like Kevin, like you alluded, in his career in the major leagues, he has stolen 6 bags and he has gotten caught 6 times.
Yeah.
It has not been a productive major league experience for Vidal Bruján. I really hope that he turns it around. But from what we have seen, it hasn't been good, man.
Yeah, it seems like, dead weight offensively, and it's a case of I just don't know if he can square the ball up and drive the ball at the big league level. Maybe the movement, the velocity is too much for him to adjust to. He also, for whatever it's worth, isn't quite having the production at AAA that he had in previous years. And it seemed, I don't know if it was exactly a year ago or 2 years ago, but where he was just mashing balls. It's like, wow, where did Vidal Bruján find all this power and this pop? And thought it would eventually matriculate to the big league level. And that just hasn't been the case. But yeah, it's tough. I think he's sort of in no man's land. And I don't know if the Rays can trust him to give him enough opportunities and at bats for him to find his footing. So it might be a case of, I hate to bang the drum again, but trade bait, even if you're not going to get a high, heavy return, clear his spot off the 40-man, take a flyer on some sort of rehabilitated pitcher, some pitcher that has some sort of flaw that the Rays think they can fix, and go from it with that. Maybe Bruján would be most successful going to a team like the Athletics, where not really playing for anything. It's just rolling out the string and see what you can do, as opposed to a team that they're competing for something. And I don't know if Vidal Bruján's quite ready to step into that role and step into that level yet, which, speaking of all this, it's funny that the Athletics are on a 6-game winning streak. I feel like some of the mentality from the players are that, hey, it's getting close to trade deadline season, so I want to make sure that I put on my best impression, best foot forward, so I get picked by a decent level team and I can get off this sorry ass franchise. So maybe there's some of that as well. But yeah, I just I know it's totally unfair. Not enough time. He has not had enough at bats, plate appearances in action. But I just the gut feeling is that he's not a guy that I have confidence in rostering year in and year out, or just
I don't see him in the roster next
prominent
year.
role to.
I don't see him in the roster next year, quite frankly. 2024, January 1st, I don't see him.
There's too many other guys knocking on the door as well.
There's too
many. I mean, I know he's versatile and he's speedy and all that, but at some point you got to move on down the list and move on down the line. And how many times have the Rays done that throughout their, history?
Oh, wait, so he's speedy? Okay, well then give me some steals. Oh wait, it's six stolen bags, 6 caught stealing. So he's not even giving you that. And the versatility, I get it. It must be awesome to have a corner outfielder, center fielder, shortstop, second base kind of guy. That's fantastic. That makes your life so much easier, especially when, for example, Isaac Paredes gets rung up. You have that availability to know that second base is going to be taken care of because you have Vidal. But at some point, if Jonathan Aranda is going to be a clunker there with the glove, but he's going to give you hits, give you some pop, gap to gap, maybe you do go that route. But yeah, no, I just wanted to touch base on that for a little bit. But I do know, changing gears, our buddy from Locked On A's, who has been having a couple of rough seasons covering the team, well, he has gotten some good news. He has press coverage credentials for this year, and so we're really happy for him. And of course, he is a good friend of ours, so he said if we had any questions to ask Kevin Cash, to give it to him, and he did, and he got a question in, and so let's take a listen.
You come here as the best team in baseball. What has stood out to you so far this season as like a highlight for the season?
Our consistency, I think. I mean, that we've been able to, we started off really, really hot, and I feel like we've maintained it in all facets of our team, whether it's pitching, defense, base running. To have the record that we've had to have some things go our way, but I also think that we've earned it by doing a lot of good things on the field.
So, what do you say to Kevin Cash's reason why they've been so good?
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And just first off, thank you to Jason for taking the time and doing that effort, that real, he's working out there. He's shuffling his feet to get us the quotes. But no, I think Kevin Cash hits the nail on the head there. And I like him also defending Isaac Paredes yesterday too. So I'm a Kevin Cash fan. I don't have many Kevin Crash moments this year.
No, and you shouldn't have Kevin Crash moments when you have the best record in the league. But no, again, like you said, thank you to Jason for getting that to us. He did mention, by the way, that Mark Kotsay had like a 12-15 minute pregame roundup with the media. You know how long was Kevin Cash?
4 minutes.
Less than that. It was 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
Why do you think that disparity? Is it just because there's a lot of stadium questions? There's a lot of reverse boycott questions for Mark Kotsay? Because from what we all always hear from the media, from Bally Sports and from Rays Radio, they're quite short. And one more thing. Have you noticed that Kevin Cash in the post games and in the pregame, he kind of cuts off the question before it's actually given to him completely? He gets ahead of it. He cuts off the interviewer so that he already has his spiel ready. Have you noticed that?
I have not noticed that because, quite frankly, I do not get an opportunity to watch the pregame or the postgame shows. But I feel like Kevin Cash, maybe in his first year, he was more willing and open to answer any and all types of questions, no matter how nuanced or stupid or ridiculous they are. But now he's gotten to the point of he knows the drill, and he's just like, hey, I want to get these things over with. I know it's part of my job, but I just got to move along here. But as I think part of it, because his media availability was shorter than Mark Kotsay's, I think it's just a factor of him being on the road, and you don't have all the Tampa Bay television stations at the Trop to throw the questions at Kevin Cash versus at Mark Kotsay. And there's a lot swirling, despite what the Rays are doing record-wise. There is a lot of bad press, bad blood swirling with the Athletics between the reverse boycott, aka a riot, like you mentioned, and the I mean, talk about word gymnastics, but there's that, and then the whole Las Vegas, Oakland stadium complication, like it just, yeah.
Oh,
So, and I think Mark Kotze is not quite yet secure enough in his role in his skin to kind of blow off reporters, where Kevin Cash is on a long-term contract. He can now more or less do what he wants, I think.
Yeah. I think there's something to the being a veteran manager rather than just being, kind of new at the gig. By the way, you talk about words, and I don't know, you used something there, but I forget it. Anyway, whatever.
Word gymnastics.
Words. There it is. Word gymnastics. On Monday's episode, you were trying to say how it would be funny if the Rays record would be a P word to the Oakland Athletics record. JC Mill W, a YouTuber, commented on us, and he said, palindrome. That's the word that you're looking for. So JC Mill W, that's exactly the word that we were looking for. So thank you so much. And just as an aside, dude, our YouTube comments are awesome. Thank you all for being everydayers and for kind of growing this niche, this community that we have of Locked On Rays people. Because if you look at the YouTube comments, there's not a lot of like crazy, like, let's get a Shohei Ohtani for Vidal Brujan. I would be like, oh no, please don't do this. They're actually smart comments that know ball, that want to get to know more ball. So I really, really want to give everybody else a shout out if you comment on YouTube. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, we appreciate them for sure. And again, I know that sometimes we, aka I, am a little late to post the pod on the traditional podcast feed, such as Spotify, Apple. If you're really chomping at the bit to hear, watch, listen to us, you got to go to YouTube. That's where you can find it first and foremost. So just throwing it out like that. I don't know how we got mentioned on Vidal Brujan again, but I just get the feeling like he doesn't belong. That's kind of the word I'd like to, or the phrase I'd like to sum up. He doesn't belong at the big league level. Maybe as a 28th man, 27th man, okay, but not as a everyday regular. Palindrome, yep, that was correct. And speaking of guys with words, this is one thing that I really liked and appreciated, hearing and watching Andy Freed on the television broadcast. I thought that was a nice, awesome treat. That guy is superbly talented, and I could listen or watch him anywhere. And, maybe a question to ask him at some point if we ever got him on the show is, what's more challenging, radio to TV or TV to radio? Or maybe ask Dwayne Stats that as well. But it seemed like he handled that role with aplomb. They all have their different strengths and weaknesses, but he comes off as a chameleon type that can kind of bob and weave to any role that's thrown to him. So if and when Dwayne Stats retires, whenever that is, I would not be upset if Andy Freed took on that television role full time. Just saying.
I think he would do great. And I think we did get a taste of post Dwayne retiring. And I know that sucks because we love Dwayne. Every Rays fan does. But that time will eventually come where he has to retire. And you're looking at a first season where he is, taking some time off from road trips, this being one of them. But Andy Freed, man, he did awesome. And I really liked how, because he's a radio guy, he did have the imagery still there in his in the play-by-play. It was very, very cool. Dwayne leaves the game breathe a little. He has more of a slow pace on his play-by-play, just because of being TV. Andy was a little bit faster and would kind of fill in the holes a little bit more than Dwayne. And it was just a different style, and it was really cool. It was really refreshing. So no, I'm with you. Although it will be very interesting how they do him and BA with all the shenanigans rather that'll happen at Tuesday night's game with the reverse boycott, because there are first batter of the first inning to like chant sell the team, and then like stay in Oakland, ba 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 ba, stay in Oakland. So like they're doing that. Then in the fifth inning, they're going to stand up and like not say anything for the first at bat. So it's going to be really, really wild this game. So we'll see how Andy Fried and BA will be able to kind of let us know what's happening with a Rays type of lens.
Do you think it's going to live up to the hype that we've heard, or is it going to kind of not be as impressive or entertaining as we expect it to be?
I don't think it's going to fall flat.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be as atmospheric as, you know, that wild card game that we saw in 2019. Like that was ridiculous. But you know, I think it won't fall flat. I think that
that's like a football game.
Yeah, the message will definitely be heard, and so yeah, that's definitely going to happen. And you know what? Good for the Oakland fans to do this, to kind of get their voices heard. Actually, today, Jeff Passan said that the Nevada. Do you ever see Veep, by the way, the show on HBO?
Oh, that's a wonderful show. Love it.
Yes, Nevada or Nevada. Well, the Nevada State Senate has passed a $380 million bill to help fund the proposed stadium for the Oakland A's move to Las Vegas. So that's just happened a couple hours ago. So these fans are just chomping at the bit. So I do not think it's going to fall flat. I think they're going to deliver.
Will it make any difference in whether the Athletics stay in Oakland or leave elsewhere?
I hope they stay in Oakland. I hope they stay in Oakland, but it looks very, very, very unlikely.
The Raiders left. You know, I think it's just
matter of time.
Yeah. Unfortunately. So Jason Burke, our Locked On A's cohort, start looking for an apartment or a home in the Las Vegas metro area or suburban area. Just saying with that. But yeah, I am interested to see how this reverse boycott all shakes out. I'll be looking at the arrest report, seeing what that transpires with. If you're the television, radio engineers, just turn the ambient mics down because you might hear some interesting verbiage and words and phrases on the broadcast. So I'll be curious to see how Neil Solondz and Andy Fried handle and deal with that on radio and television respectively. But yeah, there it is. Anything else for today's app?
No, hopefully, you know, again, the Rays can just come out with a split. I would be happy with a split. Keep the YouTube comments going. You guys are awesome. Everydayers. Also, be sure to listen to Sirius XM. Okay, you can catch every pitch of the Rays hometown broadcast on the Sirius XM app. So be sure to do that.
Yeah, and vote not just in your elections, but vote for the Rays player or players that you would like to see in the All-Star game.
We need to keep these episodes to 30 minutes. It's at 28, so you just
we'll have to discuss the All-Star situation in another episode, but just create your fake accounts and vote. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, vote. You can vote 5 times. Let's talk about it tomorrow. Everybody stay safe. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, everydayers. Keep those comments going on YouTube.